August 9, 2025. Los Angeles woke up to a scene that could have been plucked straight from a high-stakes streaming drama. Except this wasn't a Hollywood script. This was reality. And honestly, it had a jaw-dropping plot twist nobody saw coming. The FBI's Los Angeles field office called a press conference that felt just like a blockbuster premiere. The flashbulbs popped, the crowd buzzed, and at center stage stood Vincent Rourke, a 42-year-old self-proclaimed film financier now accused of running one of the largest entertainment industry Ponzi schemes in United States history. The numbers were dizzying. Over $80 million siphoned away from an exclusive pool of Hollywood's elite and private investors. The victims? A beloved sitcom actor, 2 Grammy-winning musicians, a retired NBA player, and a handful of wealthy outsiders lured in by promises of safe returns in an unpredictable industry. The bait was as tempting as it was convincing, a golden opportunity to fund independent films that, according to Rourke, had already secured lucrative streaming distribution deals. From the outside, Rourke's operation looked flawless. He didn't just talk the talk, he lived the part. Potential investors were invited to lavish dinners at the Beverly Hills Hotel and rooftop champagne receptions with sweeping views of the Hollywood Hills. He name-dropped executives from Netflix, Amazon, and Hulu as casually as one might mention a neighbor. To seal the deal, he rolled out slickly produced proof-of-concept trailers for movies he claimed were in post-production, just awaiting the final push before global release. The contracts investors signed looked official, complete with logos, letterheads, and what appeared to be signatures from real streaming platform executives. But the signature twist in this tale? Those contracts were forgeries. According to the FBI's criminal complaint, every document Rourke presented was fabricated, right down to the contact numbers for supposed studio reps that rang directly to his own burner phones. The already shot films were often Frankenstein-like edits of public domain footage, obscure short films, or even student projects he'd found online. In one bizarre case, a sci-fi project he pitched to investors featured special effects lifted directly from an old video game trailer. The brilliance of his scheme, and what made it last for years, was the way he paid early investors. The moment the first returns came in, the buzz spread like wildfire. People were talking. Those who had initially hesitated suddenly wanted in. It was the classic Ponzi snowball. New money paying off the old, buying credibility in an industry that thrives on hype. But as the indie film investment trend started cooling in 2024, the facade began to crack. Instead of putting money into productions, Rourke funneled millions into his own luxury lifestyle. A Malibu beach mansion, a rotating fleet of exotic cars, and a gleaming white yacht christened with a name that now feels painfully ironic. Scene Stealer. The collapse began in late July 2025. An A-list actress, whose identity is still protected, began asking questions after Rourke missed a scheduled profit payout. She called in her attorney, a Hollywood legal heavyweight who had previously worked on the infamous 2019 foreign tax credit scam case. Within hours of reviewing Rourke's paperwork, the attorney spotted a familiar web of falsified documents, forged signatures, and impossible timelines. That single phone call set off a chain reaction that would bring the whole operation crashing down. By early August, the FBI's entertainment fraud division was deep into an undercover sting. Agents posed as billionaire tech investors looking to fund the next breakout streaming hit and set up a meeting with Rourke at the iconic Chateau Marmont. The FBI wired the room. Rourke, never one to shy away from theatrics, pitched a $10 million limited series already cast with 2 Oscar winners. The agents played along, nodding as he laid out glossy one-sheets and contracts brimming with fake studio endorsements. Within days, those contracts were in evidence bags, and Rourke was in handcuffs. But here's the plot twist that honestly makes this case even darker. The FBI believes Rourke didn't work alone. Court filings suggest at least 3 co-conspirators, including a former mid-level studio executive, were part of his inner circle. So what was their role? Well, they were there to validate his story in investor meetings, arrange fake set visits, and even forge behind-the-scenes production photos. One anonymous industry source told Variety that Rourke's team had their tentacles in legitimate financing circles, making it nearly impossible for even seasoned players to spot the scam. The fallout has been, well, seismic. Hollywood's indie financing scene, already fragile, is now facing a real trust crisis. With major studios tightening budgets and streaming services scaling back on riskier projects, many filmmakers had been relying on private investment to bring their visions to life. Now, that trust has been shaken to its core. Industry insiders fear that potential investors will steer clear of film financing altogether, leaving smaller productions totally starved for cash. Meanwhile, the battle over Rourke's assets has turned into a legal feeding frenzy. Civil lawsuits are stacking up in Los Angeles Superior Court as lawyers race to freeze his accounts before the money disappears. The yacht scene stealer has already been seized by U.S. Marshals, and sources say his luxury cars, including a rare $1.5 million Bugatti, are next on the list. And in the most Hollywood twist imaginable, Netflix is reportedly circling the scandal for a limited documentary series. Think Fyre Festival but with red carpets and fake Oscars. The irony is almost too perfect. A scam about fake movies becoming the plot of a real one. Investigators have hinted that more arrests may follow, especially if Rourke decides to cut a deal in exchange for lighter sentencing. And, whispers in industry circles suggest that some of his victims, including the unnamed actress, are considering going public, which could reveal even more shocking details about how deep the scam ran. For now, one question lingers. Was Vincent Rourke a brilliant manipulator who knew exactly how to exploit Hollywood's obsession with image and illusion? Or was he just another hustler who stumbled into the perfect con at the perfect time? One thing is clear. In a town built on make-believe, sometimes the most unbelievable stories are the ones that are true. And if you're the kind of person who can't look away from scandals like this, the scams, the stings, the rise, and the spectacular fall, you're going to want to stick around. So, smash that like button, follow for more jaw-dropping real-life dramas, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next blockbuster scam. Because in Hollywood, the sequel is always coming.